Hello, all my fine film friends. This is Stacia back with you for the last time of 2023 with my New Year's Eve movie recommendation. This year is going to be the 1995 Neo Noir Cyber Near Future movie Strange Days. In this movie, you have Ralph Fiennes as Lenny Nero, Angela Bassett as Mace, Juliette Lewis as Faith, Tom Sizemore as Mac, Michael Wincott as Philo, Vincent D'Inofrio's in here. There's Glenn Plummer in here. He plays Jericho 1. Vincent D'Inofrio's character is a cop. His name is Burton. We also have William Fichtner as another cop by the name of Dwayne. So like I said, this movie came out in 1995, but it is set in the near future. It is set in the last week of the millennium from 1999 into January 1st, 2020. And if you weren't there for those years, or if you were too young to remember or too young to really get caught up in the mania of the turn of the millennium, it was quite a time with the Y2K phenomenon for some reason, where we all thought our computers would just go crazy because it didn't understand that it was the year 2000, and the computer code never really was meant for a year that started in 20 instead of 19. There was, especially in the early 90s, a lot of unrest. The LA riots happened, O.J. Simpson, Rodney King, which was an inspiration for the story. Even though James Cameron, who wrote and produced this movie, the original concept he started in 1986, it became more fleshed out after Rodney King and the LA riots that came about following that verdict. And this is also directed by Kathryn Bigelow. She, not at this point, but she was previously married to James Cameron, and from my understanding, they have maintained quite the professional relationship. He has produced a lot of her movies, and there's still a mutual respect there for each other, but she is the director. This is, I believe, her follow-up to Point Break, which another cult favorite. And this movie recently, it did not do well at the box office when it was released, although I did see it in the movie theater, but it didn't even come close to making its money back, but has become one of those films that you visit 20 to 30 years later and realize that it needs a second look, and it's become quite the cult classic recently. And there was quite a time in the mid-90s where we flirted with virtual reality and, tech, and cyberpunk was a big theme in movies and TV shows, surprisingly at the really infancy of the internet and all of these tech things really taking over. And I liked the movie when it came out. I think out of all of these movies that were made during the time, from Hackers to, there were like TV shows that had a little smattering in there. You even have movies like the Michael Douglas, Demi Moore one about sexual harassment. God, what was that called? I can't remember, but that even dabbled in a little virtual reality cyber world as well. But out of all of those types of movies that came out during that time, I believe this is by far the best of them. The perspective for what they called squids, which is not quite virtual reality. It is a headpiece, and it's supposed to go directly into your cerebral cortex. So people that have worn one while they were doing something, it goes directly into their cerebral cortex. You can see what they see, and you can feel what they feel when you take the tapes from that and watch it back on playback yourself. So a real spin on the kind of virtual reality, but you're actually seeing somebody's actual reality. And in the movie, part of the plot is the underground work of this, of people trading because people want to see and experience things that they wouldn't in real life. It can be from the mundane to the criminals wearing it while they're committing a crime, so you can feel what it is like to commit a crime yourself. Besides all that, this movie was and is a very graphic depiction, and especially in a couple of scenes. So just be aware of that. There is going to be a few very graphic scenes in this movie that, I mean, it's done really well. It gets the point across. You see, it does up the stakes in this movie, but they are very graphic. And a lot of this movie still is very relevant for things happening today, which is probably where the cult status comes in. I've noticed in the last couple of years a lot more people talking about this movie and wondering why this movie was seemingly ignored and has brought it to its cult status of today. The acting in this movie, especially with a cast like that, is fantastic. Ralph Fiennes and Angela Bassett together were, they're quite a duo, and they seem to have a great amount of chemistry. It's nice to see Angela Bassett in a role that she's still a badass, but it is not the regal badass that we are used to nowadays. Ralph Fiennes is an oily, sweaty mess in this. And Juliette Lewis, her music performance in this is the stage presence she has while doing her singing and musical performance in this actually inspired her to create her own band and go on the road and pursue music for several years in the middle of the height of her career in the 90s. So basically what I'm saying is, if you haven't seen Strange Days, you should seek it out, find it, watch it. It is a great movie. Just keep in mind, it is a little graphic in spot and not your normal fare. But it is well worth the watch and very, very prescient to things that are happening in today's world. It is a great New Year's watch. Like I said, it takes place over New Year's 1999 into 2000, and I think you will be pleasantly surprised by this Kathryn Bigelow gem. This has been Stacia, and I want to thank all of my subscribers. I am to 86 subscribers now, and I completely love it. I have said this before, I'm not delusional. 86 subscribers isn't that much in the grand scheme of things, but it is a lot to me, and I appreciate each and every one of you. And hopefully soon I'll be to 100 subscribers, onward and upward from that. But if you're watching this video and you haven't subscribed yet, do me a favor. It'd really help me out if you would subscribe and leave a comment. It would really, really help me out. I appreciate getting the conversation of movies going. I love talking about movies, and I would love for you to watch my further videos, but I will see you all in the new year with lots of new things coming down the pipeline. But I love you all. Have a safe New Year's, and good night.